So whenever reading the Bible, you should always care about the truth, the biblical truth, and not read your preconceived notions into the word, right? Let it speak to you. Don't speak into it. That's why you're reading it. If you wanted to just listen to what you already thought, then you can just talk to yourself. I want you guys to listen to exactly how this youth pastor sounds when addressing the topic of a man having multiple wives. And he had a young man from his church ask him about it. Let's see what happens.
I'm a leader in a young adult ministry, and recently one of the young adults came and asked me about whether the Bible prohibits polygamy. And I brought up some passages about how God designed Adam and Eve, not Adam and multiple wives. I talked about in the Old Testament that kings weren't to have multiple wives, and in the New Testament, elders and deacons were also to be a one-woman man. However, there are some more disturbing passages, let's say in Deuteronomy, that talk about how to treat your second or third wife. It does not appear to forbid it. And so I was curious.
Okay, so before doing his research, he responded to the young man by giving him an answer. I won't say that's really too much of a problem. That's what I will expect most pastors to do. But then he said, "I'm going to look into it." He proceeded to look into it, and there was nothing forbidding it. He knows that. Think about the mindset for him to decide to call into a radio show or call into like a YouTube channel show and be like, "Hey man, I don't have anything. Do you have anything to tell me so I can tell this kid?" Also, he calls passages in the Bible disturbing. Why is any of it disturbing? It's only disturbing if you already have a destination that you're determined to get to. And now these passages are making it difficult for you to get there. That's what makes it disturbing. You just named Deuteronomy 17:17, which we've already addressed on the channel, but I will make a whole video just about that verse because it shows so much. That's directly tied to only kings. And then he talked about something that's directly tied to only pastors or elders in the church. That's why he's calling in. He straight up said there's nothing that forbids it. Let me rewind it.
And I brought up some passages about how God designed Adam and Eve, not Adam and multiple wives. I talked about
Again with the Adam and Eve thing, because I guess I should address this little by little when it's brought up in these videos. To say that the story of Adam and Eve, this like forbids or suggests that polygamy isn't good, is to suggest that monogamy disproves polygamy, even though monogamy is a prerequisite for polygamy. Because before you get your second wife, you have to have one. You know what I mean? Like every single person who has multiple wives at some point in their life had one. So I just don't understand how this story of this guy having one would disprove the idea of a man having multiple. You see what I'm saying? And that just doesn't make any sense, right? Like if anything, it would disprove celibacy because it's not good for a man to be alone. But we don't say it disproves being celibate because that would be silly, right? That would be silly to suggest. So it's even more silly to suggest that it disproves a man having multiple wives. But I understand when you already have an opinion, it can be low hanging fruit.
The Old Testament that kings weren't to have multiple wives, and in the New Testament, elders and deacons were also to be a one-woman man.
In Kings, that's not even what it says. It's not even says it says may not greatly multiply may not multiply wives, and we could connect that to a multiple, which is anything greater than one in the English language.
However, there are some more disturbing passages, let's say in Deuteronomy, that talk about how to treat your second or third wife. It does not appear to forbid it. And so I was curious if you had some more information to help me understand how to convey this, that God's intention was not for us to marry multiple wives.
You did a pretty fine job all by yourselves.
Can you help me convey this? That it was not God's intention. Why can't the Bible help you convey that? Like you search through the scriptures, you can't find what you're looking for, right? So besides saying, maybe I was wrong, it doesn't say that. I always thought it said that. It doesn't say that. No, it's like You had to be like you definitely research YouTube videos about this. You research articles about this. I mean, I feel like those are things that somebody would do first. Just like as you're sitting there reading and can't find anything. Okay, let me search it up real quick. I just in my head to call into a show to ask about this, you exhausted like your resources, right? Like the resources that were more available to you. A quick Google search, a search in YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Didn't find anything. And now you're saying, not is this true or not? Not, hey man, not even asking him yourself, like, hey, why is it that we believe that a man should have multiple wives? I haven't found anything. You don't have genuine curiosity about the topic, right? Or a genuine curiosity of for truth. It's no. This is where we're gonna get to. This point right here. Only one for you, buddy. Can you help me get there? He knows his argument is bad. No one is gonna have in this is gonna be in this situation have this argument and be like, oh, this is really good, but I'm gonna call into a show so he can give me some stuff to convey it. No, he knows this is inadequate. He knows if he goes back to this teenage boy and or this young adult or whatever he said and tell him this, give him this evidence, he knows as he's saying it, the boy's gonna be like, okay, if he says so. That's why he called you. And then you say you did a pretty good job. Or what did he say?
Intention was not for us to marry multiple wives.
You did a pretty fine job all by yourself, sir.
No, he did not. He know he didn't do a fine job. But the reason you're saying he did a fine job because you have the same arguments. You really don't have any arguments. So if you guys want to watch the whole video, even the title admits it. Why doesn't the Bible condemn polygamy? And if it's not condemned, it's not sin. It's really that simple. It doesn't. If it doesn't break a law of God, it's not sinful. I just don't know. Yeah. So just another thing of listening to like two pastors talk to each other about this topic is very interesting. When I first watched this video, I think I was still kind of on the journey of, hey man, somebody have to. I used to watch Wretched, right? I used to watch Wretched. I kind of sort of like when I used to watch this dude Alan Parr, used to watch this dude named Ruslan KD. There's a few channels I used to like go to and watching all their videos. I used to watch a lot of Mike Winger, like a lot of Mike Winger. I like Mike Winger a lot. Watching a lot of their videos talking about the topic just kind of made me that those were the things that made me realize, bro, they have nothing. Like I just knew, oh, these guys have something. Like they're gonna have something, right? And they just had nothing. And eventually you just have to admit, hey man, like it's really in front of you. It's really obvious. So I'm talking in circles now. Just wanted to go over that. Very interesting. Do not trust these people blindly. Again, you want to be a blank slate when you're reading the Bible. You want to get your opinions from the Bible. And the best thing that I was blessed with is my opinion to almost eradicate my brain of preconceived notions when I decided to become saved. Right. And as I dug into stuff, I was completely okay with the idea of the culture getting it completely wrong. Completely okay with that because I had already seen instances where the world ideas of marriage were almost never compatible with the Bible's ideas of marriage. So I wasn't even surprised that polygamy actually ended up being allowed in the Bible, and not just allowed, but like just treated normally. So see you guys in the next video.